Greetings, Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. It's Tuesday night. That means if you're in this room, you are at Golden Speakers Toastmasters of Fairfield. We are located at the west side of the Hy-Vee grocery store on Burlington in the club room. You're always welcome to come down here anytime, particularly our viewers at home. Bring your shopping list. It's a good way to get everything covered at once. We meet every Tuesday evening, 7:45 to 9:15. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Can anyone in this room say that that has been the case for them? Hands? Okay. Okay, that wasn't even forced, right? That wasn't an arm twisting. Good. So let me just mention, and because we do have a guest, that we do a lot of clapping because that really makes people feel good up here. And so just follow the lead of who's clapping. We use them when people are coming, when they're going, and just if we're honoring them, we do clapping. I cannot clap right now. It does not work. So this is my clap. So I'll help lead by going like this, and that means you guys can clap. Just a quick clap demo for those who maybe have forgotten or need a little brush up. So first I'd like to hear incorrect low energy clapping. Yes. Okay, that's almost like nails on a blackboard. That was an excellent rendition of incorrect low energy clapping. All right, so now could I get high energy, enthusiastic, supportive clapping? Okay, good.
This is the sound of one hand clapping.
That is the sound of one hand clapping. Unfortunately, it doesn't convey the energy, but it's a visual. All right, good. Speaking of guests, we do have a guest this evening. Would you stand and give us your name? What brought you to Toastmasters? What's that?
Yeah, my name is Alex Kobelfranks, and I am interested in getting involved with the Toastmasters program because I am excited about evolving as a speaker and really honing my skills so I can spread the message of my health coaching business. And it is my goal to become a speaker, motivational speaker, and do speeches nationally and internationally. So I really need a place to work on those skills.
Excellent. All right, excellent. So we'll ask you later at the end of the meeting, Alex, something you might have liked that you saw in the meeting.
Yeah.
So you can just look forward to that. Now, Dee is reminding me that we want to put all of our devices on off is a great option. Off works really well. Stun or quiet things, but we just don't want anything to break up the meeting. Is anyone in here a doctor with a life and death, patient under observation? That would be an exception. Okay, good. Yeah, so good. So D is finishing up there, I can tell. Okay, good. Not quite. Okay. So, and then also too, we just want to make sure the people up here are getting their full attention and support. I think, is there anything else I haven't mentioned before we get into the actual meeting for tonight? There is some business we want to do at the end of the meeting. Our officers met right before this, so we have a couple things that we would like to run by you, get some feedback, comment, take a vote, and so we'll do that. We good? We're good. Okay. So with that, I would like to warmly invite our Toastmaster for the evening to the front of the room, Fraser Jones.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. So tonight, I'll be Toastmaster for this meeting. And without further ado, I'll introduce the role players for tonight. Let's start with the timer, Janet Everson.
Thank you. So as timer, table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light is turned on at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1.5 minutes, and the red light is turned on at 2 minutes until the end of the speech. Prepared speeches are usually 5 to 7 minutes. The green light is turned on at 5, the yellow at 6, and the red light is turned on at 7 minutes and remains on till the end. Okay, evaluations are 3 minutes. The green light is on at 2, yellow at 2.5, and the red light is turned on at 3 minutes till the end of the evaluation.
And she will be giving a report at the end. And let's move on to the grammarian, Jean Craig.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, or guests. My first job as grammarian is to give you the word of the day. If you use that when you're up here in front of the room, you get extra points. I'll actually track how many times and we may have a big winner. Who knows? It's written on the backboard, ambivalent. It's an adjective meaning having contradictory thoughts about something or someone. A usage is she was ambivalent in her feelings, alternating between a joyful acceptance and an anxious resentment. Let's try to use that word. My other job as a grammarian is to listen to the language that is used during the meeting, jot down any phrases or usage that catches my ear as something colorful, memorable, well said. I also have the job to notify someone if they've spoken with poor grammar, and I will give a report about the good, the bad, and the ugly at the end of the meeting.
Next is the accountant, Peter Armstrong.
Fellow Toastmasters and everyone, tonight it's my job to check up on those words that can tend to creep into our speeches. Words such as like, you know, so, but, and false starts where you start and then start again, and Xeroxes, which is saying the same thing twice. And that's what I do. At the end, I will present a report.
In addition, in the meeting, later on in the meeting, we'll be hearing from the general evaluator, Veda Royal, and the greeter, jokes master, Dale Stuffer. So right now, we are going to move into the prepared speeches, and I'm calling up the evaluator, Art Atkinson, to read the objectives of the first prepared speech.
Thank you, Fraser. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Tonight we have the pleasure of hearing Hy-Vee Shatnawi present project number 9 from the Competent Communication Manual, Persuade with Power. Hy-Vee is a Jordanian who moved here 5 years ago, brought his family, father of 2. He works as a software engineer at MUM and enjoys spending his leisure time with calligraphy and research in genealogy and etymology. His topic tonight, his speech title, is Ramadan. His objective with this project, his three principal objectives are: number one, that he appeals to our own self-interest, that he uses both logic and emotion to either persuade, inspire, or call to action his audience. So please join me in warmly welcoming Khadaifa Shadnawi.
Okay. Everyone is ready? Nobody looks at me. How long or what was the longest time you stayed without eating or drinking? 5 hours, 10 hours, something maybe? There is thousands of millions, which is billions, of people around the world. They do not find enough food or water to drink. Fellow Toastmasters, our guests and viewers at home, every one of us, when we sit together to have our lunch or dinner with our families, we might think about poor people around the world who do not find food or maybe drink. And we think about things that we can or we may do for them. But usually we do not do anything. We just think about these things. In Islam, there is 2 mandatory things for every Muslim. First thing is charity. Charity is mandatory for everyone who has money. It's something like taxes here in US. Everyone has to pay 2.5% of his money every year. If he's a farmer, he has to pay 10% of his harvest if it's watered by the rain. And it's 5% if he watered that. But it's not for everyone. If you are poor, you are not going to pay. This is the first part of helping poor people. Because if you reduce the number of rich people, you will reduce the number of poor people. It's a balance. The second thing that in Islam is fasting. The order in Quran for fasting for every Muslim, as mentioned in the Quran, it's written for you to fast during Ramadan, as it was written for previous nations. And the purpose for that is to be righteous. During Ramadan, which is 15 days from now, 1.5 billion Muslims around the world start fasting from the dawn, about an hour before the sunrise, until the sunset. There is no food, there is no drink, there is no any sexual relations, there is no any bad words, So this is the fasting in Islam. And the purpose of that is to become a righteous, is to fear. Because when you feel how these poor people feel, you can think more about them. You can do more for them. This is the first thing. The second thing, when you fill your stomach, you will not be a righteous, because first thing, you're going to sleep. This is the easiest thing you do when you eat much. But when your stomach is empty, your soul is more free. So fasting a couple of hours every day for 30 days for the whole community, that changes everything. It's not only I fast, but you fast, he fasts, or she fasts. It's everyone. Everyone in the community fasts. Everyone think in the same way. Everyone use his time, her time for worshiping, for thinking about purifying ourselves for from the previous year and for the next year. Someone may ask, but yeah, every year we fast 17 hours. No, actually it's not 17 hours. In Islam, we use the lunar calendar, which is 355 days, which is 10 days shorter. So every year, Ramadan becomes 10 days earlier. So last year it was May 25. This year it's May 15. Next year will be May 5th. After a couple of years, it will be January 1st or January 5th or etc. So now people in the north fast 17 hours, and people in Argentina or Australia, they fast only 10 hours. After 15 years, they will fast 17 hours and we'll fast 10 hours. So everyone will get a chance to fast the same amount. My message today, or my homework for everyone today, is to try to fast. Just stay from the sunset as much as you can, as long as you can, but not after the sunrise or the sunset. Try to fast as much as you can. And during this fasting, when you feel hungry, think about these people or those people. Maybe they are here or there around the world, they do not find enough food to eat or water. Fast means do not eat, do not drink. Plus, think about yourself when you are hungry. How weak are you? And how weak is your body? And give your soul a chance to lead your body. Thank you.
Timer. Did he
Yeah.
qualify?
Yes.
Okay. Tonight, since there is only one speaker,
2 minutes.
oh yeah, we need 2 minutes to fill out the evaluation forms. All right. So now we move on to the evaluation section of the meeting, and I'll pass you on to the general evaluator, Veda Royal. Conduct next.
Thank you, Fraser. Members of the audience, members of Toastmasters, honored guests, members at home, members who should be here, not at home. Tonight, we have a simple evaluation section right now to just call up Art Atkinson to evaluate speech number 1. Art. You'll have 2 minutes to evaluate the speech, correct? 2 to 3 minutes?
I have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yes. So fellow Toastmasters, and most especially Hy-Vee. What I like about this speech was the conviction that Hy-Vee demonstrated about the value of fasting and of the traditions of his religion around Ramadan. And that was very effectively projected. This speech was a call to action in the sense of fasting as action. It was a call to inaction. It was a call to self-analysis in the experience of hunger and of the psychological and spiritual changes that come over a person who's voluntarily giving up the pleasure of eating in order to experience what those less fortunate around him experience. What I felt was principally missing from this talk, Hy-Vee, was your need to identify where in our self-interest could you show us a way to. You didn't successfully appeal to our self-interest, I felt. It was an informative speech about what other people do in another part of the world, rather than a call like this. Would you like a way that was guaranteed to give you immediate access to a higher level of spiritual development? Let me introduce you to a tradition from my part of the world called Ramadan and the fasting that's done in it, and inspire you to adopt the same strategy that we in the Muslim world have adopted for 1,000 years. That would have been a way to start an appeal to our self-interest. You could have even said, may I see a show of hands, who's interested in personal and spiritual development in this room? And then you would have had the audience already keyed into what's the value of the fasting in Ramadan that you so carefully explain. Are the lights working?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I missed one too.
The objectives, just quickly to go through. The speaker projected sincerity and conviction. He's definitely a credible source of information about the topic. The speech opening was so soft that I felt that it was necessary to move to the absolute front row in order to find out how you were opening your talk. I would have spoken louder to begin my speech if I were trying to persuade. The speaker did use facts and logical reasoning to support your view. The speech organization was effective since you went through the details of the procedure. And I am persuaded to accept the view that you projected anyway. I'm persuaded by its long history and by your sincerity about it. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Arthur. That was a wonderful evaluation. I believe I'm now tasked with calling up the table topics portion of the meeting. We seem to be missing our table topics master. Who is the replacement? Thank you, Jean. If Jean could be called to the front for table topics, then, hold on a second. Okay, Jean, please come up for the table topics. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Also, you notice we do a lot of handshaking. Handshaking is a good thing. Yeah. All right, so the theme for tonight's meeting is the merry month of May. And I have some topics I'm trying to keep around that. Since I'm filling in here, I may throw a couple of curveballs just to keep it lively. And what we can do is we can start with a member, and then guests are welcome to participate as well. So we'll stretch our impromptu speaking muscles. Okay. I'm now going to open the floor to volunteers. Veda, is that your hand? Okay. It's pretty subtle there. Okay.
I don't want to overwhelm anybody else volunteering.
Yeah.
In case you want to choose.
No, it's like those auction things where
Yes.
someone blinks and
Those
good,
scratchers.
you bought it. All right, so come on up, Veda, and we'll give you a question. Okay. What is your favorite part of the month of May? Tell us about it. Okay.
Madam Topic Masters, Toastmasters, guests and viewers at home. My favorite part of May is that I'm alive. 1 year ago today, on May 1st of 2017, I was on a job that involves driving a large, very large, white, ambulance-like looking, flashing light vehicle following oversized loads. During a certain point of that trip, about 4 hours from here, heading to Chicago, my head comes up from being down, and I notice things flying by my passenger window. Things, noises, sparks. I realized I had just fallen asleep. In fact, I traversed that route today and saw the shiny new guardrail that I eliminated on that day 1 year ago. So my favorite part is that I can talk to you today, because 1 year ago, for the luck I had was that I hit a guardrail that woke me up, because if I had not hit a guardrail, I may have gone into a ditch and rolled the van or possibly come back into the highway traffic. The other thing is my favorite is that the flowering trees, and that we can see these beautiful flowering trees and celebrate spring. Madam Topic Master.
Kind of makes me think about times when I've started to nod off on the road. Like, it can happen. I'm glad you're here. So, Jan, you want to get the light? Okay, great. All right. Okay, so that's how you do it. And do we have another volunteer? Oh, we have a majorly enthusiastic hand that just went up from our guest. Come on up, Alex. All right. May is called the merry month. What makes you merry? Is there a story you can tell us to illustrate?
explain to her about the,
Yeah, and I mentioned it, but you have up to 30 seconds. You don't have to just immediately think. And then when you start talking, she'll start timing. Light at 1 minute it'll turn green. 1.5 minutes, it's yellow. So keep an eye on that. 2 minutes, it's red. And then you have 30 seconds to wind it up if you haven't. Okay, good. All right. Hand again here for Alex.
Topic master, Toastmasters guests watching from home, thank you so much for welcoming me here and allowing me to be a part of this process today. This is something I haven't been a part of for a long time, and the energy in this room is just incredible. So thank you so much for allowing me to experience this for the first time. What really makes me merry in the month of May is all of the new life springing forth from every corner. You can see the flowers blooming. I live on a farm and we just had 2 baby goats that were born. The chickens and the turkeys hatching from their eggs. The grass greening. Everything is changing and growing and blooming all around us, and it's spectacular. What this makes me think of is my own personal growth and journey and the blooming and bursting forth that I've undergone over the last 3 years. We all have periods of deep transformation and moments that make us curious and think, what is our purpose? What are we here to do? And sometimes that causes us to go into a dark night of the soul. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, right? But these times where we're really trying to figure out, what are we here for? What is going on? I underwent a dark night of the soul in 2015, and it was really centered around my weight and my health and the things that I was doing in my life that were stopping me from living fully my purpose in the world. So I had to go into a period of deep consideration and incubation, really, if you think about it. So what this has reminded me, the blooming of May, the blooming of flowers, the new life being born all around us, is that this was a process I had to go through myself. So I had a process of learning and shedding the old layers that allowed for this growth that I've experienced. So May makes me merry because it reminds me of the blooming and the growing that I've undergone myself, and the transformation that we're all constantly going through to bloom and to grow into better versions of ourselves. So I remember each day that I am grateful for the sunshine of my soul, and I am grateful for all that is around me, reminding me to grow. Thank you.
Woo! Okay, that was very nice. Very nice on the first day of May, too. Thank you very much, Alex, for stepping up. Well, we have some more. Mr. Armstrong. Woo! Thank you. Okay. And Madam Timer, I know how difficult it is to manage all those things. You've got your red light there. I know. Don't want to get everybody all excited when they haven't even started. They've only got 30 seconds left. Okay. I'm a little ambivalent as to which question to ask you, Peter. I think I will go with this one. Again, it's the merry month of May. Flowers, trees, plants, they're all starting to blossom and grow. What is your favorite of those and why?
Hello Toastmasters, honored guest, viewers at home. I like the month of May. It's fragrant. And of all of the growing things that grow in May, I like the fragrant flowers the best. So I like hyacinth, lilac. And even if there isn't a super strong odor, I like redbud trees, tulips, especially big beds of tulips just kind of gushing forth. Something that really says, springtime. It doesn't just say springtime, it says, here I am. Love me. You can go up to Pella any May. Do they have it in May, the Tulip Festival? Yes, exactly. And if there is a storm, they'll be replanting all of their bulbs somehow and get them so that they look presentable by next weekend. They make it happen. And I love going there and seeing a huge bed full of yellow tulips with one purple one in the middle that somebody put there for a joke. You know, just in the middle, just sitting there. It's fun. It's cute to look at all of those things. So, pretty much anything that grows in May, except weeds in my lawn, I'm happy to see. And there's plenty to see. It makes me happy. Madam Topic Master.
Great, thank you. Excellent handshake, by the way. I just want to compliment Peter on that. Webs were right together, firm, not painful, just good. If you want to practice your handshake, get a hold of Peter and shake hands with him. Peter, is that all right if I promote you on that?
Yes, it's a free service to Club.
Yes, all right, very good. It's important to learn how to do that. All right, another question. I'm gonna hold just to see if I have anyone else who DIFA because you were our speaker, but I could. Who DIFA? Well, you're also like I know everyone's got a role. Well, are we okay with who DIFA coming up?
I'm okay.
No.
What are you asking?
I just another volunteer.
Sure.
Yeah, don't come up this side. Remember that?
That's right.
Okay, so what was that about? Who can explain? Thank you. Just Dee, we're just having an educational moment here. Just a moment. Dan, you want to explain what just happened there?
It's just a matter of camera angle. If we
Right,
go up that way and that way, we get not a very flattering look at you.
We get a
They're
moving.
behind.
Yeah, and so
Right.
since this is filmed and put on our local access TV access channel, we want everyone to look good and we just don't want our cameraman getting upset. So this is tempting. This is actually almost like a test.
Yeah,
You didn't do it. I don't think you did.
No, I suggest that the Sergeant at Arms make sure that there are no gaps in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I don't know what happened here.
This is inviting me.
This is I
Yeah.
know.
I did. I filled up the entire front row.
Somehow it disappeared.
Well, somehow we just need to move them closer so we don't get
We
tempted.
need a yellow caution
It
tape.
was probably pulled into, it was requisitioned for some other.
I took a bunch of chairs out, but I just said, we just tighten up in here.
You could get the black and yellow tape. Do not
Well-
cross.
Yes.
I have a piece of it somewhere.
Okay, so now that
I'm gonna
we've,
use this.
I don't know,
Well, just tell me.
it's not ours.
Well, no, I'll put it back. I'm just feeling I might need
Okay,
this.
okay, all right, well, I don't know, you might, actually. Okay, so here we go. All right, so then we got that all cleared up, that's what the deal was, that's why I got all excited on you. You're okay, we're settled down?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, so I'm really glad to have you up here, Dee,
Okay,
thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah, good,
yeah, good firm hand.
all right. You're gonna love this one. Baby birds are on their way. If you were a parent bird, what would you do to take care of your babies? There you go.
What kind of bird?
You can pick whatever bird you want and then tell us how you're gonna
Picking a
take
bird.
care of your babies.
Well, the most important thing is nesting. You got to find the right other bird, right? So whether you're male, female, you have to find the other type, right? And you think about birds, there's all kinds of birds make different kinds of nests. You know, think of hummingbirds. They make these little nests that come down, make a thing in there. And so the little birds come up. You know how the birds go like this when they come up, and their little baby birds going like this. So the most important thing are worms. You know, what do baby birds like to eat? They like to eat worms, right? So mama bird, and then there's other type of birds that these hummingbirds make these little sacs that come down. And the little baby bird has to climb up and kind of look around. And the mama bird goes out and finds worms, right? And they bring the worms back. And so then what happens a lot of times, the little baby birds they want to explore. You know, you were all babies at one time, right? You didn't just hang around in there. You were trying to get out of the crib. Same thing with baby birds. They try to get out. And then, so sometimes, you know, if you go to South America, I don't know if you've been there, there's all kinds of strange looking birds. Big birds, little birds, and there's Big Bird. Remember Big Bird from Sesame Street?
Yeah.
How many birds did Big Bird do? He was kind of a big bird, right? So you got to take care of your birds. You know, it's the birds and the bees. Make the connection between the birds and the bees. Birds and the bees.
Yeah. Is that Okay, that's kind of a oddball one. You did a great job, Dee, on that. No, the question was odd, so you picked it up. And that's what we do with table topics is you get a question, throws you off, how do you deal with it? Okay. I think we're just about done with table topics. I want to thank everyone who's come up and go ahead and ask for, since we have a number, we can vote. So Janet, who qualified?
In every category, everyone except, in table topics?
Table topics, just table topics. Who qualified? Everyone qualified. Could you please read the names so we can remember that?
Maida, 1.5.
No, you don't get, just read the names.
Alex, Peter,
Okay.
D.
D. Okay, great.
Alex, A-L-Y-X.
Okay, so I don't know if we handed out our ballot since we didn't have, we do? Okay. So go ahead and put down your person that you felt was your favorite table topics, and you just write the name on Alex and then you tear it off. Pretty simple.
Veda was the first speaker. What is your favorite part of the month of May? He took time to think. He addressed the audience, and he was very dramatic and alive in his speech. Alex, she also took time to address the audience. Her topic was the merry month of May. And she had great gestures and she was very enthusiastic. She had great eye contact and she used the stage very well. It was a great coherent speech. Peter Armstrong. Merry month of May, his favorite was flowers. He did take some time to think, greeted the audience, and he had great gestures. The one suggestion I have for you is you can make more use of the stage instead of staying one place. D. Baby birds. What would you do to take care of them. It was a very interesting speech. He had great gestures, especially when it came to bird movements. And I would suggest that you use the stage a little more. Like when you were saying that they would go out to get worms, you could move take that opportunity to move and then deliver from this other side of the stage. He was very enthusiastic. And another suggestion I had for you, you could have a better wrap up by saying, you take care of nourishing the birds so that they will have a great start for the future or something like that. And that's all. Who do I turn it to?
Then you want to hand it back over to our general manager?
Yeah, so general evaluator.
Thank you, Fraser. I believe that my schedule says vote for best evaluator. And so you should vote for the best evaluator. That means our first evaluator, who was our first evaluator? Art was our first evaluator, and our second evaluator was Fraser. So they were both wonderful, excellent speeches, so kind of like pick your favorite person. Just kidding. Pick the person who you thought best exemplified evaluations. Okay. So the next thing I'll be doing is calling for the reports. The first report is from Janet for 1 minute. Can you please just quickly give us all the times for the topics and the speeches?
Thank you, Toastmasters. Hudaifa was 6 minutes and 51 seconds. And for the table topics, we had Veda at 1 minute and 58 seconds. Alex at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Peter, 1:51. And D, 1:45. Then, is that it or all of them? Well, Art was almost 5 minutes, and Fraser was 2:40. And Veda just did 1:50.
Thank you. Let's see, do we have any other, it says to call up the joke master, but I'm thinking we're missing some other reports, perhaps grammarian report?
Grammarian it's down there.
Okay.
8:50 p.m.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped that. So I'd like to call for the grammarian's report now. Dan Craig.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow members, honored guests. My first job is to report that ambivalent was not a popular word tonight. Jean managed to bring it in there. Thank you, Jean. I didn't hear it from anybody else. You could, well, I'll try something else next time. Here are some phrases that I heard tonight that I thought I'd repeat. From Hudaifa's speech, there were several. The first, he was talking about the two aspects of the Ramadan observance, charity and fasting, and he said the purpose for that is to be righteous. That caught my ear. It also doesn't seem quite right in the phrasing, but I can't tell you exactly how I would change it yet. We'll talk about it after. But still colorful. You also said when your stomach is empty, your soul is more free. Particularly like that. And at the end, you said, give your soul a chance to lead your body. All very nice phrases. In the evaluation arts said, the speech was a call to action and a call to inaction. I thought that was memorable. In Veda's table topic, he said, my favorite part of May is that I'm alive. That's an attention getter.
Yeah.
And in Alex's talk, she said, everything is growing and changing and blooming, and it's spectacular. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dan. Great report. The next report is from our odd counter, Peter.
Fellow Toastmasters, it was a good job tonight with the, until your evaluators started talking anyway, with the ums and ahs and whatnot. Udaifa, I did notice one false start. D, I found a couple of you knows and one so. Fraser, I found one in your evaluator's speech. And everyone else was, I don't know about my table topics, but all the other table topics were clean as far as I could tell. Arts evaluation, again, clean. And Veda, I did lose track during your speech. I found I hadn't been paying attention at some point, so the speech sucked me in, and it was a clean speech, therefore. And I don't think you actually said anything either.
Great, Peter. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to use my immense power as General Evaluate to do a pre-joke. I'm going to do a pre-joke on the subject of May 1st. Just to finish the story, and since we've already voted, I don't get an advantage. The story of me crashing into a guardrail, waking up. There was a driving rain that day. I was able to pull back my van from the brink and slide underneath the bridge, missing one wheel in the front, along with my radiator, my door, etc. And as I slid to a stop with nary a scratch on me, I picked up the CB mic and went, "Mayday, Mayday." So, and I really didn't realize it was May 1st, but now I was reminded today. All of this was true. So I'll be calling up the real joke. Sorry, D. The real joke master.
Right.
D, and remember to segue around the chairs.
Yeah.
Thank you, D.
Yeah. Okay, first joke. How many Republicans does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to change the bulb, 1 to call the media, publicize it, and another one to blame it on the electric company. What happens when you cut off your left butt cheek? It gets left behind.
What?
Your left butt cheek. It gets left behind.
Oh.
What happens when you cross a lawyer and a pig? Won't happen. Some things are impossible. And one more. This is a good one. What part of the military do babies join? We should all figure this out.
Yeah.
The infantry.
Very good.
Thank you, D. We will not count that among the off-color jokes, since it was fairly clean in its individual words. My job now is to evaluate the evaluators before I turn back the meeting. Today we had 2 exquisite and excellent evaluations, one by Arthur and one by Fraser. Arthur was the more formal evaluation because he was evaluating a speech. It's much more scripted when you evaluate a speech. He was very upbeat. He was very clear. In fact, I thought he was more clear than the speech itself. I was astounded at information about the speech that he picked up that informed me about the purpose of the speech. He also did seem to jump very quickly into the critiques, and so my suggestion would be to delay the critique of the speech before possibly finding a few more positive points. But since our speaker is so advanced, it's not really a problem. He noted the lack of lights, and his timing was therefore delayed. Thank you very much for the excellent speech, Art. Our next evaluation was by Fraser. He gave enthusiastic, positive, wonderful, feel-good evaluations for all of us that spoke table topics. My only suggestion was maybe find suggestions for each person rather than leaving them off, and find only one suggestion per person instead of, even though two people could use the same suggestion, perhaps go to a different suggestion for each person. With that, I will turn it back to our multi-talented Fraser Jones, Toastmaster this evening.
And now, it's the award presentation time. So, give a little drum roll. Our first award going to Udaifa. Completed the ninth competent communicator.
Oh yeah.
Proceed with power.
All right.
And since we only had one speaker, he was also the best speaker.
All right.
Yeah, every time I teach myself.
No, they can.
The next table topics. A drum roll again. Best table topics was Alex. A round of applause for Alex. And last one is best evaluator. And that goes to yours truly. With that, I'll be turning it over to the president, Jean Symington Craig.
Thank you. Thank you, Fraser, for such a good Toastmaster tonight. I tell you, I am so, this is like, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you very much. We're at the end. We're ending a little early. We do have some business we want to go through. But first, I just want to touch base with our guest. Alex, as promised, we were going to come back to you and ask you to stand and maybe tell us something that you saw that you liked about the meeting.
I thought this was a very delightful meeting to be a part of, and I loved the professionalism and the ability to practice speaking, public speaking at every level. It wasn't just focused on the person actually giving the speech, but every single piece of it was very fluid, and every different role has an opportunity to practice speaking, because when you're engaging in speaking, you're not always going to be a keynote or the person in front of the program, but you may be a supporting role, and it's just as important to be able to communicate clearly in every role that you're in. So I loved that about this meeting. Thank you.
All right. And you asked about how the membership all works, and we can talk to you a little bit about that afterwards. Okay. So, golden speakers. We had as I mentioned, we had our officer meeting today, and I think it's okay for our guests to be here because it kind of relates a little bit. So just, it's just some business stuff. We did have a proposal about dues. And Dan, did you want to mention that? Dan's our treasurer, but also felt like he articulated that pretty well.
Thank you, Madam President. The item that we were discussing at our officers' meeting was the possibility of lowering our dues. Over the years, the Toastmasters portion of the dues, the piece that we turn into international, has grown a bit. And so we've been increasing the overall amount that we collect. And we're starting to feel like the dues have maybe gotten high enough that people notice. Especially when they're first signing up, they pay the $20 and then they have to pay 6 months if it's a whole period that they're doing. Currently, we charge $63 for a 6-month period. 45 of that's going to international, we keep 18 at the club. The proposal that we've come up with tonight is to reduce the club piece from 18 down to 9, so that a 6-month dues per member is $54 instead of $63. It's not a lot of money, but when you think about, $108 versus $126, it's noticeable, particularly when somebody's first starting out maybe. The other reason we're thinking about lowering dues going forward is the fact that the new Pathways program is coming out. We've talked a little bit about that. We had a presentation a few weeks ago from the area director. Jean has mentioned it a couple times. Since it's a brand new, exciting program, things are going to work quite a bit differently. We would like to promote the fact to the public that Toastmasters is entering a new era. And we thought it would be maybe a good idea to try to encourage membership also by giving people a smaller fee going forward. So the proposal that we approved in the officers' meeting is that for new members from this point, we would charge $54 for the full 6-month period. Of course, we prorate when it's between the two dates, but it would be $9 a month instead of $10.50 a month. So is there any feedback on that? Does that seem like a good idea at Veda?
Yeah, we can just do it from.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Dan. Just, I thought I'd get towards the camera.
Good.
Intuitively, if I had just been God and someone said, lower the dues a little bit, I probably would have said $10 a month sounds great. But try to lower the initial fee on people so that you get people the initial fee. Somehow the dues should come out of the first time. That extra $25 plus the dues could be a lot. So $10 a month sounds reasonable to me. That would be 60 instead of 54.
Anything else? Art and Janet next.
I presume that you've analyzed what impact this would have on the cash position of the club going forward.
We have a pretty good amount of cash on hand right now, so we're not hurting for money. The long-term impact really depends on how many members we go forward with. That's a bigger factor than anything. So perhaps a lower monthly dues amount might bring our membership back up. As you have noticed, it has fallen.
What was the most number of members we've had here? Because I've just been here like maybe less than 6 months.
At one point, I think we're around 40.
40 members.
Yeah.
It's too many. It's actually too many. It's like, that's 20, Toastmasters, excuse me, can I raise it?
Yeah.
Toastmasters International considers 20 to be, that's what you need to really have all the roles covered and everyone, and yet you're not so full that people don't ever get a chance to get up and they can't get their speeches scheduled because there's so many people competing for it. So we actually had too many at that point, and there was a little bit of talk about maybe we need to break off as another club. But, because I was here in 2006 and it was a lot like that. So we're in a building mode right now, and because we have the new program coming, like in 2 days, we just want to give it a good push, and we want to give you all tools to when you're talking to your friends and inviting to be able to, you know, have success with that, inviting them to come to the meeting, check it out, like that.
And Janet wanted to give feedback.
Yeah, I like the price lowering suggestion and having it be 108 a year, and we're all in for that in this town. How many emails are Janet at 108 at Gmail? It's a good number, and I think it will help a little bit.
Okay.
We should have a reward for whoever brings the most guests next week to start this program. This is like a big kickoff.
Okay.
Good.
Dinner with Jean.
We've got special
Symington Craig.
balloons. We're ready.
At Hy-Vee.
I think I'm gonna call our president, Jean, back up. If you wanna have an actual vote, or I'm not sure where you want to
Yeah.
go at this
We're
point.
gonna vote, because we want to get this going right away. Thank you. And just a comment, I think, Veda, I think your question pertained to somehow, if I understood it, that why can't we have the $20, the one-time $20 when you join, which goes to Toastmasters also, somehow included in, like, is that right? Did
Well,
I hear that right? I wasn't sure I
No,
understood.
that, the point would be maybe to lower club dues on the initial membership, where you're asking them for an extra $20, maybe perhaps instead of lowering it for everybody. I mean, I'm not against it going to $54, but maybe in the future, there'd be some way to say the initial dues would be less to help people start Toastmasters, rather than
Like
lowering
$10.
the,
Okay, well, here's be the math, and somebody who's clearer than me, we drove 14 hours from Atlanta to Iowa on Sunday, and my brain is still, you know, somewhere else, but, you know, let's just say in Dan's example, so a 6-month period, and Alex, just the way it works is, you know, Toastmasters collects dues, everybody around the world, April 1 through September 30th, that's one 6-month cycle. So if you happen to be here on, you know, March 31st and you want to join, well, perfect, we're just gonna get 6 months from you and then you're all set. But if you join in between, so then the next section is October 1 to March 31st. So those are the 2 segments. And so once someone has joined and they pay prorated dues to get them to the end of the cycle, then everybody's on the same payment cycle. So if that was the case, and we had $63, you're gonna pay for 6 months, but we have to send 45 of it to Toastmasters International and $20 to Toastmasters International, right there you're underwater by $2.
you could
'Cause you
be unless you don't lower it that much, the initial fee.
Well, I would like to, so you're saying,
I'm saying it may be too complicated to go back through your business meeting, you've already made these decisions. I'm just saying
Well, we're
maybe in
just
the
trying to get-
future, you do it a little differently. I'm not saying go back to the drawing board, I'm happy if you've made that decision. Or
Oh.
that that's a viable proposal with our economics. I was just suggesting
Mm-hmm.
I might do it a little differently, try to encourage some new members with lower fees up there. But it may be just too hard to figure out at this point.
yeah, and everything has to be proratable, so you sort of like by 9s or, you know, 6s or something, it's sort of a,
You could also do like a pay, sorry.
go ahead.
Often in marketing, they have one one payment plan for pay in full, that looks lower.
Yeah,
And then another, if you're
yeah,
paying with 2 payments or something, that would be a little bit higher, so that could be, you know, the lower payment could be what you're paying now, so it still looks like a deal.
You can't go that way because of the way that it's structured with international, that where the club is allowed, it has to send in all the money at once. So it wouldn't work, but it's just.
I mean, it's creative, it's just like, so we were in Atlanta and I'm telling my mom this, and you know, my mom's a really bright woman. And she's said, I told her kind of what we're doing, the dues, and I said, we send $45 of that 63 to Toastmasters International. And she said, well, just don't send them that much. You know, send them less. And I said, no, Mom, we have to send that. That is a given, that's a send. She said, well, no, you should tell them they need to get it lower and you should work on that. And I thought, Mom, that's like way above my pay grade at this point, you know, but that was her, you know, so unfortunately, I mean, I've seen it grow, the Toastmaster International part, I've seen it grow a lot. They are doing a lot. I mean, this whole, all the resources and the running, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they're doing that. And my mom says, well, what are they doing to earn that? You know, so I'm stuck trying to explain this. But it's good. It's good. You know, we try to keep it simple. We do usually have a monthly thing. And so then we can, you know, we can prorate it as we, you know, depending on where somebody is joining. We do allow credit cards with a $2 extra fee, processing fee, so that can help people. Maybe they don't have the cash right at hand, but they can spread it out or whatever, like, you know, like that. Yes, Art.
The idea that it is proposing, I think I understand it to mean in the first 6 months of membership, the club portion would be, for example, instead of $9 a month,
Reduced.
$7 a month.
Right, I got it.
And then it would step up to $9 a month. You'd still send all the same money.
Right, well, so what if someone joins in the middle of the 6-month period?
So they have 3 months at $7.
Well,
It's just during their
but you have to send $20, so is the club
No,
paying that,
they're
or?
they're coming up with the same $20 going to international, and instead of $7 a month going to the club for however many months is left in their cycle. And then the next time the cycle starts, they're paying $9 a month, just like every other member. I understood his idea to be that. I'm, like he was saying, comfortable if you've decided that they can be cut to
To $9.
$9 a month.
You know, what we could, Fraser, did you have something?
No.
Just wanted, okay. So I think we can work on this thinking, and it's good, you know, that's one reason we're bringing it to the membership. I would like to actually have it be poked around a bit more. I'm a little concerned about getting it too complicated so it's hard to explain, and you know, and then there's something about, depending on where you are in the cycle, you know, you have less opportunity to have a reduced portion of the club dues, because then anyway.
Good point.
You know, it's.
So my final comment would be then, 54 sounds cheap, maybe right now we could use a cheaper sounding fee, and we can always use less money out in our life, so I would go along with the $54 suggestion, and the other might be just too complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, let's vote.
All right, okay, so here we go. Let's just, I think do we feel like we've got a little bit of airing on this comment? Okay, great. Okay, so members, so I'd like to propose that we, as of May 1st, that our Golden Speakers Club's dues are $54 per 6 months, and we will prorate depending on where people are. And that gives us a little bit of a break. It just seems like it's, you know, because 45 of that will go off to Toastmasters International, so that's just $9 left. That is what, 6 into 9 is what, $1.50. So the club gets $1.50 from each member for whatever we want to do. Okay, so it's really not much, and even if the whole package at $9 a month for this kind of, meeting and engagement and getting all of the online, pathways and everything like that. I mean, for a personal development, self-improvement program, it just doesn't come much cheaper than that. Yes, Dee?
I was gonna say, what amount do we have? Do we have like an account? Do we have money in the bank, or is it just somewhere out?
Yeah, no, we have a
We have
treasurer,
a treasurer, and it's all in there
and there's
somewhere.
money in there.
In there.
Yeah.
And what would we use the money for?
Yeah, we just, we buy our ribbons, you
Oh,
see
this stuff,
ribbons,
okay.
there's this, things that we
They
need some
rent a Hy-Vee on
clipboards.
this place.
We rent.
We rent, that's correct, we rent this place
We
out.
pay for this place.
what?
We pay for this place.
We do pay
Or
for
they
this
use it
place.
for all
Because if you
other
don't
purposes,
eat, you
so
have
I
to
thought
pay.
it's free, so they put their
No,
stuff
it's,
here.
this is starting,
So
this is
they-
a
they
new
have-
development. It's messy, so we have to decide. However, we do have a very good deal on this
Yeah, yeah.
space. So it just depends on, what we want to do about it. But yes, it's duly noted that this is encroaching. They need to, put it somewhere else.
Yeah, it
Yes,
actually is
yes,
tended
last
to-
question?
If it was $55, I know that's more expensive, but then it'll be $10 per member, it might be $10.
But it's not
for the club.
divisible, but we gotta get it divisible by
Oh.
6.
Yeah, yeah.
Divisible by 6,
See,
okay.
that's the thing.
54.
As much trouble as we're having right now, we gotta have it divisible easily. Okay, so I would like to propose that we have 6-month dues are $54 going forward as of May 1st. Do I have a second on that?
Yeah, second.
Okay, I think we've had a lot of discussion. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Maybe we
Okay,
should, well, okay, let's see if there's any names.
Yeah, any nays? Nay. All right, good. So Peter's our secretary, he can make note that we did that. Okay. And we have 2 minutes to go. Pathways, again, as we mentioned, it's on Thursday, it's live for us. So I'm gonna just encourage you to go check it out, log in, start doing your path. You can start looking at stuff. And the question has come up, so if you're an existing member, you have, you're current, you have up to 2 years, starting in about July. So July 2021, is that right? No, what are we on? No, 20. I'll tell you the math. 20 is, you have to finish things that you're doing in the current traditional program. So if you CCs or advanced communicator bronzes and all of those things, you can do that, and you can also do stuff in the pathways. So you don't have to make a shift. New members, as of Thursday, will only be doing the pathways online. Okay? Which is a cool thing. I think it's cool. Last thing is, I thought I sent an email out. Nobody seems to have gotten it. That could have been, Atlanta, Atlanta on my brain. But it was
Georgia.
about bookstore, what?
Georgia.
Georgia. Yes, that's right. Georgia on my mind. That's what I was, see what I mean? I mean, like, I'm just off on my references and everything. Thank you. And he's from Jordan, and he's got that better than me. Jeez. The bookstore box. Did anyone get an email about me saying, hey, look at Toastmasters.org and decide what we want to spend $290 on?
No,
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back. But anyway, when you're going and looking at pathways on Thursday, log into Toastmasters.org, which is the big website, go to shop. And what we're looking for are suggestions that we will vote on as a club on how to spend. We've been awarded $290 in bookstore bucks because of cool stuff that we've done and completed in the district. So we'd like to get, but we have to use it by June 30th or we lose it. And I hate losing money that we could have spent, but it has to be spent on that thing. So next couple of weeks, take a look. I'm open to all kinds of things. Given the size of our club, we could all get hoodies. Maybe we get hoodies. They have little cups. Of course, whatever we can do here in the club, more ribbons or something. I don't know. Maybe a lighting
they have an
thing.
online store?
Yes, it's all online. You can go in there and look at all the stuff. Okay, So, and then send it out, and I'm gonna keep track of what's coming in, like Veda says we need to get, I don't know,
Hand trucks,
decals for our cars and stuff, and throw it on the golden speakers or whatever, and then we'll vote on it, okay?
I may have missed this before, is there a password and username to log into this?
You have to go in and create an account.
Do it myself.
No big deal. Yeah, just go in. They already know who you are. You just need to go in and
They know who I am.
use your email address that you use as a member. Okay, that is it. Looking forward to your shopping suggestions. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be selecting officers this month. Stay tuned. Be thinking about what office role you might like to have. It is totally fun being with the group of people that are officers. It's just fun. We just look at each other and go, what are we gonna do now? But no, we're a good club, so, but stay tuned on that. All right, thank you very much everyone for coming. Meeting is adjourned.